Good afternoon. This is Roman Diaz with Kunes Ford of Sterling, here with Kunes Car Convos. We are here with Car Convo with Nora Rodriguez. We're going to be talking about Fiesta Day Parade. We are in a 23 Lincoln Corsair. Well, Nora, I'm Roman with Kunes Ford of Sterling, one of the sales managers. Just want to introduce you. Nora, how you doing today?
I'm Nora Rodriguez. I'm the treasurer for the Taste of Fiesta. And we're doing good.
And what are we chatting about today?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the Hispanic population here in the Sterling Rock Falls area, the Sauk Valley area, as people like to call it. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the history behind how the Fiesta, the 16th of September Independence Day celebration started here in Sterling Rock Falls.
Yeah, and we seem to have quite a bit of a Latino population.
We do. I'm not quite sure how much we have, but I am probably between 20 and 30% Latino population in the Sauk Valley area. It has grown tremendously in the last 20 years, but we've been here. We're here.
Awesome. Yeah, no, in the dealership we have quite a bit of Latino customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely part of the community that we've been part of forever.
Yes. My family got here in the early 1970s, and we've been here ever since.
And you started off, you came straight to Sterling?
We came to the Sterling Rock Falls area from the El Paso area. I'm initially from Juarez, which is right across the border from El Paso. And yeah, I came here when I started my 3rd grade here, so I was 9 years old.
Wow, a little bit of a culture shock.
A lot of culture shock, but we come from a city and then come down to a country setting, but it worked out for us. All 4 of us managed to stay here in the area.
And what was it that you do?
I am retired. I was the manager of the Social Security office in Freeport, and I worked for the Social Security Administration for 39 years, and then retired 6 years ago.
And how'd you get involved with the event?
Oh, well, when we came here, the Latin American Social Club was hosted on Wallace Street, and that was the hub of where the Hispanics went for all their festivities. And they had already started, I believe the Fiesta Day started like in 1950 or 51, may have been the first time they had already started this tradition of celebrating the 16th of September in September. And that's I became involved with the folkloric dancers. That tradition has been around for a long time, taking children from the community and teaching them some of our culture, and then they perform at the 16th of September celebration. Now it's called the Fiesta Days, Taste of Fiesta.
Taste of Fiesta?
Mm-hmm.
And you know about how big it was when it first started?
When it first started, it's always grown, and there's been variations of it. But the parade has definitely spread to the Sterling and then Rock Falls area, and then they took turns and stuff. Our organization, the Taste of Fiesta, took over from when the Latin American Social Club, they were doing it at first, and then when they disbanded, then the Taste of Fiesta took over. We've been doing this since 2011, and each year it just grows. It just grows. Last year we probably had over between 6,000 and 7,000 people. So our venue is getting crowded.
It's growing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, last year we were in it too, and yeah, no, it's a couple miles long.
And the parade will, of course, this year, hopefully depending on the weather, but that'll be on September 14th. The Taste of Fiesta will be on September 7th, and then the parade will be on September 14th. And then on September 15th, they'll have the soccer tournaments out at Shy Park in Sterling, and that pretty much ends the week of the Fiesta.
And the parade starts at 1, correct, on Saturday?
I believe so, yes. The parade is handled by the Chamber of Commerce in Sterling. My organization doesn't handle the parade, but we work closely with them.
And originally this building we're coming up to was the Latin American Club, correct?
Yes, this was their third location. Later on, we will go to the very first location, but this was their third and very last location, was the Latin American Social Club. They are the ones that started the tradition of celebrating Mexican Independence Day. This was the hub for many, 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 many years.
Yep, looks like they're remodeling now. You can still see the sign, Latin American Club.
Yeah, and it was established in 1951. I believe that was the first year.
That's the first year.
That they did the Fiesta week. Yeah, they still have the I want to call it a headstone, but it's a stone with all the names of some
The
of
founders?
the founders of the Latin American Social Club.
Were you ever a member?
Well, the Latin American Social Club was established in 1951, and they didn't allow women to be a part of their board or decision making. That changed in 2004 or 2005. And yeah, once they allowed women to be part of the decision making, then I was part of it for about two and a half years off and on. And then I believe they dismantled in 2010.
Altogether?
Altogether. The charter is still there, but I don't believe that there's any members or meetings or anything that's being held.
And you said there's 3 different locations. That one was the third one. We're about to go to the first one. Where was the second one?
The second one was where Kunes building is right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the second place. And then they sold that to Kunes, and then they built out here. In 2005 was when they first opened out here.
Yeah, and I know that a big majority of the Latin community came from the mill and factories that were here that started off in the 50s.
Yeah, the factory, the railroad, a lot of people would jump on the railroad back then, and they would get through to Dixon, and from what I've been told was that the railroad would stop in Dixon, and they thought they were already in Sterling, or in Chicago. So many of them would get down and then come walking, and then they would hear about the mill having openings, a lot of work down there. So that's how a lot of people arrived here in the Sterling Rock Falls area.
A little bit by accident.
A little bit by accident, yeah. And out by where the Latin American Social Club, though, the one we just passed, right behind it, it's there's a community there that was part of what they call the Silver City. So a lot of these Hispanics, the owners of the steel mill, would give them free housing, and what they would do is just take a car box on the train and put them out there. So a lot of those houses, that's how they started out. It was just a train car.
Living in a train car?
And that was home to a lot of people.
Yeah, and those families stayed on many generations. Now we got third generations here in Sterling. And I do know that there are several community and companies that have a lot of bilingual customers as well, and bilingual employees that definitely help out here with the community. This is going to be the first location for the Latino Social Club.
This used to be the entrance to the steel mill.
And this is where several families got their start.
Yeah, most of the families that started back in the 50s and 60s working here for Northwestern Steel and Wire, this was the hub, Wallace Street. And of course, we have the Latin American Social Club that started. And that one's right there.
This building right here?
This building, that's still standing. When they sold this building, you'll see that it says El Paraíso. They sold it to someone that named it El Paraíso. But yeah, this was the club. This was where the Fiesta parade would start.
Just turn around.
And this is where all the festivities would be held at.
And before the club, was there another location that...
No, before the club, back in the 50s, Hispanics weren't allowed in regular bars and stuff like that. So that's why they started their own. They got together and they set up. From what I understand is this was bought by a group of men, and there was just a small, tiny house. And then they built onto it. The Hispanic community got together. Here there used to be a restaurant where she would basically feed almost all the Hispanics that worked at the mill. And sometimes even if you didn't have money, she would feed you and stuff. But
wow, and you forget about that sort of history where the 50s weren't allowed to go to other bars.
Yes, Hispanics weren't allowed to commingle in other places. And you know, our music is loud. Our music is loud. That's
on our way next. We're going to the mural. Is that correct?
I'm trying to remember when the mural was formed. I want to say it was either 2000 or 2001 that the mural Adelante, going forward, was formed.
And what does it signify?
Well, it's 5 different panels, and each of them have their different meanings. So the mural basically captures our early history as the Hispanics in the Sauk Valley area. The first panel, you'll see where the railroad track comes in, and a lot of the immigrants that would come, that wanting to work, they thought they were going to get to Chicago. Well, they got to Dixon, and that's how they made their way to Sterling and Rock Falls. And of course, Our Lady of Guadalupe is always our protector. The second panel, you'll see there that it's got the mill and all the agricultural, where a lot of the people that came here first started working. And then of course they integrated into the American society, so you'll see them going off to war and stuff. And then again, the Latin American Social Club was a big, I don't know what's the correct word to describe the influence of the Latin America. It was the hub of the Hispanics. That's where everybody went to celebrate whatever they had to celebrate. And that one is probably the one that is most dearest to my heart, besides the other one, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because that's the one that started the 16th of September celebration, the Fiesta Day celebration. The other one, the Adelante one, of course, we wouldn't be where we are if we don't continue to grow and educate our Hispanic children. The lowriders were a big group here in, the 70s, 80s, 90s. They would also be part of the Fiesta, and they held their own celebrations in the summertime around June or July. They would have their own big celebrations.
It's important to remember.
It's important, and it has a lot of history behind it.
Good. I think a lot of us focus on the Adelante,
Yes.
and we don't really focus on where it all came from, where we all came from.
The artist, I'm not sure what the name of. I know his name is Roberto, but I don't know what his last name is. But he comes from Chicago. And I believe 3 years ago he repainted the mural because it was getting worn down and starting to fade and stuff. And so he did a good job. He did a very good job.
It's very vibrant.
And so we're getting ready to celebrate. It started in 51. How many years is that? About
50, 60, 70.
About 70 years. So the taste will be in its 12th year of doing the festivities. So we will hold the Taste of Fiesta on September 7th, starting at 12 o'clock and then ending at 7 o'clock. And it's a family-oriented festivity. It's for families to go. There'll be a petting zoo. We'll have games for the kids. We'll have face painting. We'll have dancing. 3 bands will be performing that day. So lots of fun.
And what exactly is the taste?
In Mexico, the taste is basically a version of what they call in Mexico La Kermés, which would be a big festival, more like the county fairs. So there will be plenty of food vendors, food trucks, other vendors selling their crafts, etc. This year we have a vendor coming from the Rockford area that will be selling Mexican corn and fruits in chamoy sauce that we call it. So this will be their first time coming. And like I said, we'll have folkloric dancers. There's two groups performing, Grupo Alegría and Grupo Ay Jalisco. Then we'll have three bands. The first one is from Rochelle, and that one is called La Vieja Estación. And then we do have one from the Moline area, which is Nuevo Estilo. And then we have our local band, Estilo Versital, that will be playing. So there'll be music throughout the whole time out there. We also have an elderly man that he himself made, I want to say at least 20 cars, and they're shaped like from barrels. He cut them, and he has put them all together, and so we'll be giving kids train rides, and he does that every year for us. So we greatly appreciate that, because that's a lot of work bringing all of those.
And how long has that been going?
He has done it for, the taste has been here for 11 years, so he has probably done it for maybe 8 or 9 years, depending on how his health and schedule is. But yeah, he's had it. He's been a strong supporter of the taste for many, many years. And what we do for the taste is we are all volunteers. We don't have any jobs or anything like this. We do fundraise. About 5 years ago, we were lucky enough, because of our fundraising efforts, that we started giving out scholarships. And this year we'll be giving out 3 scholarships, the Queen, the King, and then we have a Princess. So we've been fortunate enough to be able to give out these scholarships. We also honor a man and a woman as the Don and Doña, which would be, these would be people, leaders in the community, leaders that have helped out the Hispanic community and throughout their efforts. And so we honor them this year. We have Jill and Adan Ramirez that were chosen to be what we call a Don and Doña, so we'll be honoring them at the taste as well.
Oh, nice. And who was the winner last year?
Okay, the winner last year, we had 2 of them. We had the mayor of Sterling and Pastor Cynthia, and then Thomas Lewis was the Don. So we had 2 Doñas and one Don last year.